live with you every Tuesday night. We're so excited to be with you this Tuesday. A lot of great things to talk about. Some exciting things that happen, as you know. And you got Eric Vasquez on your far right, David Lamel here. It's Team Powerhouse, and it's time to talk real estate and what's happening in the world.
And,
So,
and solar eclipse.
and solar eclipse. So many of you have just witnessed the solar eclipse that happened. It's something that hasn't happened since
I mean,
2017.
the one from yesterday.
The one from yesterday, yes. And it was something that, it hasn't happened since 2017, which is not that long ago, actually.
No, it's not that long ago. Because the next one's like 20 years from now, right?
Exactly, which is really interesting how that why it's so spread out also differently. But we had some really cool images we got a chance to take a picture of. We're sharing with you on the show. I'm not
Well, who
sure-
took the pictures, Dave?
I took the pictures.
With?
My phone. What I did was, so it's funny, Jen gave us these glasses. I was thinking to myself, it's going to be like those glasses that you go to a movie theater with the red and blue in my mind. And
3D glasses.
3D glasses, right. And then Jen gave me these glasses, of course, that were not 3D glasses. So you got to put them on and you start walking. You can't see anything. So you can't walk with them whatsoever. It's like black, completely pitch black. So you walk outside, you put them on, and then you can see in the sky. In the first image, I think we saw the first time it was around maybe 2:45, 3 o'clock. We kind of looked outside, and you see this orange, sun, and a little bit of the is it the moon that covers it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you can see this, I guess the sun. It's
Yep.
cute, right? It's cool. But they said that at the point of 3:24 or something like that, you'll see a crescent. So of course we walked back out there, and what happened was the clouds came out, so it was a little difficult to see. And then the clouds all of a sudden ironically moved. The sun came out, and all of a sudden you could see the solar eclipse pretty well. And got that photo. So I took my camera. How did I do this? I took my camera. I put because they say you can't take the photo of your camera at the sun at that time. You can ruin your camera, which I didn't know about.
Really?
That's what they're said. So I didn't want to take a chance.
I did it, so.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So then I took
The camera's not working.
I took the glasses, the special glasses. I put them over the phone to kind of get it up there. Now, while I'm doing this at the same time,
You're looking at the sun.
I'm looking at the sun with my glasses on. I have one pair of my glasses on, right? I can see what I'm taking, but I can't see anything on the phone because it just can't. So I'm hitting, snapping photos of this cool crescent orange fiery thing that's up there. It was cool. I don't remember 2017 doing 2017 or what I saw, if I saw anything at all.
I think you were drunk that day.
I could have been intoxicated. It's very possible. 100%, depending what day of the week was on. Not that I drink at all in real estate because we don't do much of that.
Does your picture look something like that?
That's actually a really good photo, Eric, that you got there. I didn't see that version. I saw. That's actually a really good.
I took a video instead of just taking stills, so
Oh,
that
no
way I could
kidding.
just, yeah.
So you did that straight up with the lens and no coverage at all?
I put the lens in front of the phone.
Oh, you did have the cover.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, the same glasses that Jen gave you, she gave me.
that's awesome.
Yes, very
Uh,
fashionable.
Very fashionable.
Very fashionable glasses.
If you walk with them, you might not see
Yeah.
the wall.
Yeah.
But hold on, I put them on. I went to walk outside. Like, whoa, the kids
Yeah.
see the door. Wasn't expecting that, but definitely cool stuff. The solar eclipse. Hope you had a chance to see it. If not, I'm sure there's plenty of social media places to find them. Eric, if you can send that to me also, that'd be cool.
No.
I appreciate it very much, and we'll try and get some more stuff out there for you. So, Eric Vasquez and I have a handful of things to talk about with you. One of the things that we want to talk about is you are a seller, right? I would say today more than ever, it's a great thing to have a Ring doorbell camera, especially when you're selling your home, because it's crazy that people would actually walk up to people's homes thinking themselves, oh, let me just park here, walk up, not have a realtor,
Well, I mean, drive-bys are common.
drive.
Drive-bys, as soon as that house is either coming soon or goes live,
Yes.
there's a car and a car and a car, and sometimes they stop,
Yes.
you know.
And
And some people will actually get out and walk the property.
it's not okay to get out and walk the property.
It's not.
First of all, think of it as your wife, your daughter, your kid, someone's home, and they see a stranger walking up to the house. That's not okay. I was just talking to a realtor named Kim Nelson. Is it Kim Nelson?
No, that's not the name you gave me.
Kim
earlier.
Dawson, I'm sorry, Kim Dawson. Great woman, great girl. She tells me that her house for sale that we're supposed to go see, somebody just like rolled up on this house and like knocked on the door, and the wife is there with her baby in the house, and she comes to the front door, and the guy's like, hey, I'd like to see your house, and she's like, do you have a realtor? And she's like, no, I don't have a realtor, I just want to see your home. How crazy is that? Like, who does that? Do not ever let somebody in your house.
I don't care if it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 8 o'clock at night.
And it was 1
No.
o'clock, hold on, it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, broad daylight, right? So now, the husband who's calling the wife to find out what's going on there, because he's of course watching the camera, which is smart, the owner said, why don't you call my realtor on the sign there? And he was like, never mind, screw it, I'll find another house to buy. That is insane. So if you're out there, okay, and you have a home to sell, we tell our clients all the time, never let anybody in the house.
I hate to say that guy doesn't sound like he was legit trying to buy a house.
100%
Yeah.
home invasion, God forbid situation.
Yeah.
Very scary. And there should be some kind of they're going to have to come out, especially with the things changing in real estate, that people think they can just walk up to a home and look at a house or ask questions. That is not acceptable. And I hope you as buyers out there would be watching and listening to this. They'll know very, very well, you cannot roll up on someone's home, walk on their property, and start walking around the house because you're curious. Not acceptable.
No, it's trespassing.
Not only that, but just think about the people on the inside of what you're putting fear. You have kids in the house, it could be young teenagers in there, could be a wife, and a husband who doesn't know he's not carrying. I mean,
Or they have a pit bull.
or they don't let the dog out and tear
Open
you
the
apart.
door up and just
Absolutely.
have at 'em.
Absolutely. I mean, completely blew my mind in this conversation. We talked with Kim today. Kim Dawson, great realtor, great girl.
So in your line of thinking with that, is that something that you recommend that if people are listing their house, that you put rings up?
I think it would be a great idea, if you don't have one already, to definitely have a ring camera, period. And if you are selling your house, I think it's a good thing to have a ring camera. It adds a little bit more excitement for the buyer when they buy the house to have a ring camera. It's a couple $100. Most of the alarm companies now have them as a purchase part of the alarm companies. So definitely something I think is a good thing to have more than ever. I hate to say it like that, I don't want to freak anybody out, but definitely having some kind of surveillance at your front door, on your property.
Yeah, but this house had a ring, right?
This had a ring.
And it didn't stop the guy from walking up to the door.
It didn't stop, but at least he's on camera, God forbid, and you have more chance to feel a little bit more protected, and you can also say, listen, I've got a camera here, I don't know, but just not okay.
There's a lot of people that just don't answer through the ring.
That's true,
The only time they do is when they're not home.
right.
Yeah, but there's a way that you can set it up that you can answer from inside the house. So can I help you?
I've actually done that before. My wife sometimes will order, let's say, groceries or food, and she's not even home yet. And they'll be delivering the packages, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, where's my wife? She's on the way home from work or just leaving work. So I'm like, there's somebody at our front door. So, oh yeah, it must be the groceries. They'll just leave it there. So they ring the doorbell. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, no, you just leave them there. We're fine. We'll get them in a few minutes, whatever. And that's what you do. As a matter of fact, with that, even sometimes with people delivering food, my wife won't even come to the front door when she has food delivered. She waits for them to leave before she opens the door and goes and grabs the groceries, especially if I'm not home, out of just safety and caution. Something to think about also.
Well, the other good thing with the ring is you'll catch people talking, either coming in or coming out of the house.
It's funny you mention that. It's something I'm not sure you guys know or not, but a Ring camera can actually hear a conversation. So, my house. My front door to my mailbox has got to be at least 100 feet, I would say. Okay?
50, but go ahead.
50 feet. The person if they're in the car talking in the phone, you can hear that conversation verbatim. If people are standing out on my sidewalk,
You mean when I pull up to your house, you can hear what I'm saying from the street?
I can hear you from the street. What you're saying verbatim if I'm listening to the camera.
Did you see that commercial?
Which one?
The one with the commercial, I think it's Southwest, he's got to get away. You haven't seen that commercial?
I don't think
So this couple shows up to the door and the guy's carrying a package, a gift wrap package.
so. Yeah.
And the wife said something about, I don't even know who it is that gave it this stupid thing. you know?
Yeah.
And they're just re-gifting it.
Oh, awesome.
And the person on the inside of the house says, "We did."
That's awesome.
So the ring
That's-
can be bad too.
That's actually funny. I'm gonna have to Google that commercial. That's actually funny. I love it. By the way, speaking of just going back to the solar eclipse, by the way, the next solar eclipse, as Eric mentioned, is about, I think it's 2044. Actually, we're done. It's in August 23rd, 2044 is the next solar eclipse. And according to what they have on Google, it'll only touch about 3 states. We don't know what states they are. But so if you got a chance to see this one live today, pretty cool. You may or may not get a chance to see it in 2024. And actually, we've seen and heard about people driving across states for this solar eclipse to see better versions of it. I have a client coming from Illinois, Chicago, that was driving and wanted to be in the path of it and stopped where it was going to be on the way here, which I thought was pretty cool too. All right, going into buyers again with this whole process, or sellers, I'm sorry, going into the process with sellers. So you want to sell a home and you want to buy a house. So when it comes to selling and buying, it's very important to know a handful of things that could be advantages for you getting you ready. As realtors, Eric and I and our team would always tell our sellers the first thing you need to do is get qualified. And as a seller, you say, well, why am I getting qualified? I'm selling my house, I have equity in my house, I have no problem, I got plenty of equity, I can buy whatever I want. Well, if you're going to buy cash, beautiful. We're always going to ask you, because we have to in advance, what is your payoff for your home? Now, what your payoff is different than what your mortgage statement says, what you owe on the house. Typically, it's a few $1,000s more, so you should be prepared to know that in advance. Second thing is, in knowing what your payoff is, it helps you kind of understand what you're going to have for proceeds, but more importantly, getting qualified is going to help make sure that your credit is in good standing, because not everybody's credit's exactly where they thought it was. Over the last few years, people have been through some things, and a credit's been affected. Ways to get your credit stronger are by speaking to great mortgage brokers we recommend to you, or maybe another realtor you're working with has. Don't just go and look at Credit Karma and assume that your credit is not accurate. It's a good ballpark. And understand also what the different credit numbers equal for you in buying a home. So good to speak with a mortgage broker. In addition to that, in the process of selling and buying a home, Eric, as we know, we want to make sure that sellers, before you start looking to buy, let's make sure, A, number one, we know what you're qualified for, and B, let's get a contract on that house. Because in most cases, not all, you as a seller are going to be what they call a contingent buyer. And we want to make sure that once your home is under contract, we start shopping, because the other sellers out there aren't going to be comfortable necessarily, unless that home's been sitting for a while maybe, to go and accept an offer. They're going to go with that buyer that is a non-contingent buyer. So one way to help you get ahead of that curve is looking at something called a bridge loan or a home equity. And in the process of going and getting a bridge loan, these are things that you want to make sure you speak to a great mortgage broker to get that situated, right, with your home that you own now, and also being financially prepared so that you can buy a house possibly without selling your home. And what's involved in a bridge loan, it costs money. It's a loan that you're borrowing on equity in the current home you have, using as a down payment on the house. But you need to know this, it's very important, that you have to be able to qualify using the money you're borrowing. So now you have a note on your home, so that equity, let's say of $100,000, is now debt in your name. So you have to be able to hold that extra debt, the mortgage in your home, and the purchase. So with taxes and insurance, what that payment will be. So the mortgage broker needs to do the research for you. Important information, right?
Yep, for sure. I mean, it's basically like the same as, like you buy the house, they tell you not to buy a car before you buy the house, because
Exactly.
it's gonna impact your debt to income ratio.
That's a good
So
answer.
this is your debt to income, this is going to be something where your debt to income ratio is going to come into play again. And hopefully there's enough room between what you're paying and what your income is, that you have that wiggle room to be able to float that loan.
Perfect analogy, actually. That was a perfect analogy. And again, hopefully you have less debt in your name in that process, like Eric was just saying, so you can float, like, again, both.
Yeah, and you're only gonna use the equity that you need, so you may have $200,000 in equity in the house. You don't need the full 200, you know?
Absolutely correct.
So,
What's the timeline for a bridge loan to be done as well? The second thing I want to talk about with you is maybe even a better situation for you to make sure you know about if you have a home to sell. And this is important, doing a home equity. Doing a home equity,
home
okay,
equity, what?
loan,
No.
home equity on your house,
I thought you said a line of credit.
a line of, a home line, yeah, a line of credit.
That's a HELOC.
HELOC, right,
HELOC.
so in
Yeah,
doing,
because there's a home equity loan and there's a home equity line of credit.
home equity line of credit.
Yes.
Thank you, Eric, very good point. So in doing a home equity line of credit, you need to make sure you do this before you list your house, okay? And there are many advantages by doing this versus a bridge loan. One, if you do not do it before you list your house, you cannot do it. You'll have to do a bridge loan. Number two, in doing a home equity line of credit, okay, it's gonna be something that is much faster and much better for you in the process of buying a house because you're able to buy much faster, being more qualified, being ready. It doesn't use the same factors in qualifying as it does with the bridge loan, I believe. By the way, we're gonna have Mike Christopher, if you didn't know that already, on next week, who's gonna come and talk about bridge loans and HELOCs and other types of products that are out there, renovation loan and financing. It's gonna be a great show to watch next week to get more in detail of this.
Yeah, there's some components to that I'm gonna probably have some questions, because the home equity line of credit, as I understand it, is, let's say you have $200,000 worth of equity in your home,
Yes.
but you want a line of credit for 100,000.
Yes,
It's almost like you have a credit card, but you don't pay anything until you actually start taking money out.
absolutely correct.
Whereas with a bridge loan or any kind of a loan, they're giving you that money, you're instantly on the hook for that money.
Bingo.
You're making payments.
Bingo, bango.
Bingo, bango, bongo. You forgot the bongo
The
part.
bongo.
Yeah.
Bingo, bango, bongo. That's a very good point and the big difference. Plus, again, very important when you do decide if you want to get a home equity, a HELOC, all right? Do not tell them you're borrowing the money to buy a house because they will instantly say, "Oh, sorry, we're not giving that to you." So make sure, from experienced realtors who've been through the process, you remember this. You're borrowing this money, but you're not telling them it's to buy another house. Tell them it's to fix your house up and do some work on your home. Because if you tell them anything else differently, you can forget about the fact of getting
Kids
that
going to
HELOC.
college, you know.
Money to yada yada yada, not to buy a house. One of the mentions over here on the time and so now I know that Michael has a company that he works with, Michael Cristoforo, that is really good company for the home equity, and we're gonna try and get them on the show as well. And have a conversation with them this upcoming week. When it comes to the timeline for a HELOC to borrow that money, one of the biggest ties up and holding up the time for that home equity, which is very quick typically, is getting title on the house notarized. So as soon as they get that done, boom, bang, done. And that all can happen in about a week's time if working with the right people and have a good experience.
Yeah, with most HELOCs, as I understand it, the more equity you borrow, the higher your rate. So if you have $250,000 equity in your house and you're only borrowing $50,000, it's gonna
Yes.
be a better rate than if you're taking 200,000.
And one of the things that many people have done, which I wish I'd done in the past, when the rates were down to like 2%, 3%, and people did the equity lines in their house at that rate, I mean, I really missed the boat on that one myself, you know? That's something a lot of people I know, well, I've got a home equity line on my house and it's at 3%. Isn't that crazy? I mean, you're only borrowing for a short period of time, obviously, because you're selling and buying. And I think the rates are between maybe, I don't know, 8% and 12%.
And you know that HELOC has a lifespan.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
So,
I think, I don't know if it varies from lender to lender, but it's as long as 10 years.
oh,
So
wow.
it's like, yeah, so you get a line of credit for 10 years. So you can, you know, use 1,000, pay it back, borrow 5,000, pay it back.
I love it.
Yeah.
I wish I had it. You know, you make a mistake, you learn twice, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But when the rates do drop again, I recommend having a home equity line of credit in your house. It's a great thing to have. It's like you said, it's a kind of like a credit card, if you will.
Mhm.
You're borrowing it yourself, which is great, versus borrowing someone else's money. And your interest rate, you're paying yourself back. and I'm sure there's some tax benefits of that also. So
What's in your wallet?
what's in your wallet? That's good. I like that. Bang, love it. Being prepared is everything. So when it comes to selling and buying, right, it's very important that you are prepared as much as possible because you want to be the best buyer today in the buying process. We know we're out there. It is a Wild West kind of market. There are offers upon offers on homes. Being the best prepared buyer is going to be to your advantage. Make sure you speak to a guy like Eric or anybody else on our team or a good real estate agent you may have already. It's important to make sure you do research. I tell people all the time, do your research on your agents. What I'm finding right now, which shocks me, is how many real estate agents out there who are getting homes to sell who really don't know not only what they're doing, they're not protecting you as a seller. More importantly, we can't get in touch with them. I mean, it is literally driving me bananas. It's a weekend. We make an offer on a house. I can't get a hold of a realtor. They're out partying. They're out doing whatever. They're not getting back to us as agents, making an offer on your house. Now, I respect people have personal time. We text, we call. Hey, I'm making an offer on a house. I expect a response back. A couple hours, something. Hey, won't be able to get back to you tonight. Be back to you in the morning. Some kind of response out of respect. I received an offer. Thank you so much. Not that you send an offer and you have no idea if they received it.
That's a pet
if they
peeve.
acknowledged it.
That's a pet
if
peeve
they
of mine.
even hand it over to the seller.
But when I send the email, I do ask them, I say, please confirm receipt when convenient to do so.
Absolutely.
That's not 2 days later.
Right, absolutely. It's respect in this industry that we're in for you and us, buyers and sellers, agents and clients. These buyers are very stressed out to begin with. You know, they would like some kind of feeling of knowing that, okay, the offer was presented, it was at least being reviewed, and you as a seller, I'm gonna say one more thing. This is a very personal note to me. If you're selling your home and you put your house in the market, I don't care what day of the week it is, and offers start coming in, you should not be making these buyers wait several days. Because one thing I can tell you for sure is these buyers, you would just destroy them not only emotionally, but you'll lose those buyers, and guess what happens? Those people will go buy another house. It's not a good, nice, or professional thing to do. You get a great offer in, you should be back in contact with another agent. I would say within 24 hours, you should be dealing with negotiations, not this 3-4 day thing that's happening with some agents that are doing.
If I find out early on, and it's one of the first things I do, either day one or day two when it's on the market, I call the agent and I said, I ask him, I say, hey, did you have a conversation with your seller? And have they decided if they're gonna be doing a highest and best, or if they're just gonna, come Friday, they're just gonna say, you know what, we're just gonna take the best offer we have in hand,
Yes.
I wanna know which one it is. 'Cause
Absolutely.
do I have time?
Yep.
Do I have,
Right. Do I need to get the offer in today, or are you waiting like the next day is okay to get the offer in? I agree with you 100%.
well, not just for that, I mean, it's not about, I'd rather do it tomorrow than today, it's
Right.
just, I can write it up now. And I
Right.
can have it to you in an hour and a half.
Yes.
But if you're not gonna make a decision until Monday morning at 9 AM, and
Right.
it's today's Wednesday,
Right.
Your
clients have a chance to look at other homes in the meantime,
yeah.
you know?
Oh, and I tell the agent that too.
Right.
And go,
I mean,
well, we're gonna see some other places then.
it's nuts to me that, again, as a seller in this market, be grateful. Be happy that you're in a good position as a seller. But be respectful to the buyers out there making offers. You as agents who are listing a property, and you as sellers who are selling property. Because things can change on a dime for you. And that great offer that came on your plate, and you decide, I'm gonna wait to see if I get better. Now that buyer says, you know what, I'm out, I'm gonna go find another property. It's not what you want to have happen for a seller, because now your house sits.
But that super strong seller is capable of doing that.
They-
That's the one,
They,
that one person who comes in with like that really strong offer and you're like, wow,
yeah,
and then they're thinking, wow, if they did that, then maybe somebody else will come in,
well,
And
true.
then 3 days later, that person says, yeah, we're retracting our offer because, you want to take the chance that a house opens up 2 blocks away
And which is
that
gonna
just
happen.
happens to be a little bit better than yours?
And it happens all the time, because your neighbors, by the way, you don't know when they're getting ready to sell their house. And all you need or don't need is for someone down the street to open up, put their house in the market, and it has a little bit better than yours. And guess what just happened? Now you're in trouble. Don't play Russian roulette in this real estate game. And I hate to call it a game, but this real estate market. Be respectful out there. You got buyers who are emotional, you got sellers who are emotional, you got realtors who are working their tail off on both sides of the transaction. Our communication skills, back and forth with our clients, with the lenders, with each other, with the attorney. There is so much happening behind the scenes that you don't know about. And we're trying as realtors, sellers agents and buyers agents to keep everybody calm and happy and positive. So help us do our job and help you keep good deals on the table because, again, you don't want to lose out. It's not going to be a good thing for you. Good stuff? All right, we're going to the end of our show right now, and we're going to give out a free tumbler as we always do every show. And let's see who's going to be our lucky winner this week, Thane.
He wasn't ready.
That's all
You
good.
sprung him on me. You got what? Still spinning.
It's a long
Dun,
spin.
dun, 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 dun.
That's a realtor, Lauren Morass.
Oh,
Congratulations, Lauren. You just won a Team Powerhouse tumbler, which you're going to love and enjoy. We look forward to getting this tumbler to you. Make sure to get in touch with us, and we look forward to sending it over to you. Everybody, I hope
Yeah.
you enjoyed this show.
yeah.
Yeah. This show was a great show. It was very informative. Talked about the solar eclipse. Talked
Solar
about-
eclipse, Ring doorbell, HELOC, and offers.
And also the bridge loan. A little
Bridge
bit.
loan.
But next week we will have Michael Christopher.
We'll have details, more details on that next week.
Much deeper details for sure. Michael Christopher will be sitting in the hot seat. Prep your questions in advance. Thane will make sure to put a beautiful post out there about him coming on the show. Prep your questions. Get ready to know and understand and ask as much as you can about Michael's knowledge and experience over 30 years in the business, by the way. He's a great guy, very knowledgeable.
What?
I don't know what's going on right there between you and Thane over there.
I'm wondering how he can see with his hair in front of his eyes like that.
Well, I'm looking at the computer.
Because he's like this, and then he's just like,
Oh my gosh. Thane Gray in the background doing the podcast for us. We want to thank Thane always for
we
being
gotta get Thane on camera one time.
I
outside
think-
of on the
I think
floor.
if we get, that's a, wow. He went there, didn't he? I think if we put Dan on camera, the problem is his girlfriend is gonna freak out because then all these girls are gonna start
Yeah,
calling.
yeah.
Hey Thane,
No,
how you
well, I mean, it's
doing?"
not a dating show. I mean, come on.
You know what we have to do? Maybe it's like Tuesdays for the podcast, and then we're gonna make it like Thursday nights for the dating show.
There you
You know, coming to you live, Eric Vasquez, available for your only evening. What? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.